Hi, this is Stephanie, and the virtual museum that I decided to go with is the Museo Galileo that is in Italy. This is the main page for the museum itself, in which you can find all of the different news and other information with regards to the museum. If you were to go to the history and objectives, or mission and objectives, sorry. It talks about how their purpose is to research, document, and disseminate the history of science in the broadest of senses, and that it's an international institute in the history of science itself. So it is a very cool museum. It would be great to be able to go through this if you were a science teacher or even history, because it has a lot of history in it. So it could be very easily used in a classroom setting, because not everyone can afford to obviously fly to Italy. So the museum itself is really awesome. Back on the home page, as you noticed at the very bottom left, it has the virtual museum that when you click on it, it goes to this page for the virtual museum. And in the virtual museum, it is everything that you would see there, plus in some ways more. You have the ability to click on the rooms, and then you can pick a specific room. They have a whole list of the objects if you just want to know if you're looking for a specific object that you want to cover, or that you want your students maybe to research. It would be really cool that you can just click on the objects. It has videos by thematic area, so that's also really cool. You can have videos. A catalog, glossary, biographies. If you were doing a history lesson on a specific science individual, you'd be able to look up a bit of information about them through here, and then possibly even get to see some of the objects that go with whatever they did through history. So I would like to go into the actual rooms themselves. So if you click on the rooms button or key, you'll see that there's a difference between like the arrow for just when you move around the screen, and then when you get to something you can actually click on, it gives you that little hand. So if you click on the rooms, there are quite a few rooms to choose from. If you notice in the beginning, it looked like a two-story building. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the first one. Actually, let's pick the Science of Navigation. We'll go with that one. So when you get to the virtual museum room that you would like to look into, the title's at the top. You can have a video where if you play the video, it will tell you what's in the room. Oh, this one's not playing though. Yep, so clicking on it allows you to learn about what's in the room along with a really detailed history. You can download just the audio, you can download the video, which could be used outside, or just if the teacher just wanted access to it and didn't want to necessarily do the whole virtual component. At the bottom, it also gives you the ability to look at specific sections within the room itself. We have Robert Dudley's instruments, and nautical atlases, so if you wanted to teach how maps change throughout history, that could be really cool. And then the problem of longitude, so that could actually work in a math classroom. So there is ways to include mathematics in this as well, especially with this one because it is talking about navigation. And then over here you can see that it has 3D room and a list of objects. If you click on the 3D room, it will load as the room itself. You'll notice on the far right, it has the 2 stories of the building itself. And if you wanted to quickly change between rooms, you could by simply clicking on the room that you want to go to. So now that it's fully loaded, you can notice that when you go through it, you can click on objects. They highlight. The ones that, when you're off of it, it won't highlight. But you can click on a specific object or on the objects, and what it will do is list all of the objects in the room. I will do that in a moment. But before we do that, you can actually, it's like as if you're standing in the middle of the room, and you can scroll throughout the room and go left and right and see, what exactly is in this room. So this one would go, oh, there we go. So I'm going to the right. So this would be another one, and it allows you to, again, click on different portions of what's available to look at. Oops, wrong way. Okay. So there's something there. Oops. This would be going into another room. Based on the photo, I'm guessing it goes into this little area over here. And then some more stuff that you can click on. So if we were to click on this, so it says the problem of, so this is section, one of the sections of the room, the problem of longitude. So it gives you history information, and then it tells you those objects that were highlighted, and it tells you what they are, which I think is actually really, really cool. If you click on an object itself, so we pick the first one, it gives you a history of the item, and then it allows you to actually click on the photo and make it larger so that you can see, you know, exactly what it is up close and personal. In some ways, it's actually better than being in a real museum because you don't always get to get this close of a photo of something. I mean, you can get as close to the glass of the case, but you can't necessarily, you know, have it like blown up for you so you can really look at the details of it. And so this is a really cool piece. So they have a photo of it, which I think is really, really awesome. If you go back, so it tells you about it. It was made by a guy whose name I can't really read, I'm not going to lie, who was a nephew of someone famous by the sounds of it. So that's super cool. If you go back again, we can go down and click on the bust of Mr. Vespucci. So again, it gives you history and information. It tells you who this person is. And again, you can click on it to get a closer view of the bust itself. So I really like the fact that you can click on the photos and actually get up-close personal looks at everything, which you really just can't get that in a museum itself. I mean, you can take photos and zoom into them later, but you can't take photos with flash because, you know, that's not good for the artwork or the historical pieces. So again, if you go back to the page itself, if you wanted to change rooms, you can just click on a new room and it will load a new room with, again, the ability to be 3D, to move it around and do these different things with it. I'm not actually going to allow this one to fully load. And it has the whole same thing. If you click on Presentation Room, it will go back to the actual video that you could have. And again, if you play it, it'll play the entire video. If you want to download anything, you can do that. If you want it just in text form, you can click on text and it tells you about the room itself and what's going on in that room. The best thing I think about a lot of the virtual museums that I looked at is that it does allow you to get closer looks at things that you wouldn't necessarily get to do in a classroom setting, or even if you were present at the museum itself. And you know, there's so much rich history that goes into these pieces of history that it's impressive that they, you know, it's all written out for you and it's easy to follow and you can look up specific things. I mean, it has a search engine. There's so much that you can do with this virtual museum, and all of them, really. I think they're all pretty much similarly made. So that's really all that I have to say about this one. You know, I thought it was cool. It could be great for so many different areas, you know, history, math, science, you know, all those different things are definitely covered in this. I mean, you could probably even put it in an English classroom if you wanted to have them, you know, talk about how to write a historical breakdown of an object. I mean, you can use it in so many ways. Either way, so again, that was my museum of choice. It was the Museo Galileo in Italy, and I think it's specifically in Florence. Yep, it's in Florence. So it's in Florence, and again, it's part of the history of science. And that's it for my presentation. Thank you.